Hi, and welcome to INTERNeX Highlights of the Year. Let's have a look at some of the most memorable moments of the year. Let's take a look at February first.
Hi, it's Alex, and I'm gonna review the month of February with you. We started off with the Vancouver Aquarium, where we had a fun 4D experience and we saw some incredible underwater creatures. Afterwards, we headed to the food court and we ended our night at the Cambies with some more food and beverages. The 14th of February, we had a fun pub crawl where we went to 3 different pubs. We ended our night at the Joseph Richards, which is this awesome club with great people around you. On the 22nd of February, we headed down to Granville Island for our beer tour. We ended the month of February with a pub and club night to welcome our new intern Daniela at the Cambies.
And let's take a look at March, when we celebrated St. Patrick's Day, went to a hockey match, and much more.
First of all, let's start with the amazing weekend we had in Whistler, where we had tons of snow. We went snow tubing, bungee jumping, zip trekking, and we had a lovely evening at the Tom's Africa.
Also, we went to a Giants hockey game and we saw a lot of fights, which was fun. Sadly, the hockey season is now over, but anyway, it was a great Canadian experience to watch a hockey game.
17th of March was St. Patrick's Day, the day that we went out for green beer. We met a lot of green crazy people. We had a lot of fun.
And check out the April activities with our Rockies trip as one of the highlights.
On the first weekend of April, we invited you over to our office for international dinner. You brought food from your own country. We had Kaiserschmarrn, we had spaghettis, we had cinnamon rolls and stroopwafels. Afterwards, we decided to go for some beers at the Cambie. On the second weekend of April, we went to the Flyover Canada, and we were lucky that we also could see Flyover China. It was a really great experience, and we recommend you to do it as well.
How amazing was the Rockies trip? Let's sum it quick up. We met on Friday, the 18th of April, and left Vancouver. We visited Mount Robson, Jasper, Asfava Falls, the Columbia Icefield, Waterfall Lake, Bow Lake, and of course Banff, where we went out in a nightclub. In Golden, we celebrated our last night with a big camping fire. On the 21st of April, we made our way back to Vancouver. And of course, we had our After Rockies party. On Saturday, the 26th of April, we went to the La Casita for dinner and some drinks. And afterwards, we went crazy on the dance floor in the nightclub called Pop Opera.
Let's have a look at May with our Tofino trip as one of the highlights.
We started the month of May with a trip to the Extreme Air Park in Richmond. It is the largest indoor trampoline park in Canada. We had tons of fun in the park and it's definitely worth going there on a rainy day. On the 9th of May, we went to the Cheesecake ETC for some delicious cheesecake and went to the Donald's Pub on Granville afterwards.
Trip of the month was Tofino. We left Vancouver on Saturday 17th of May at 7 a.m. and drove about 40 minutes to the ferry. After our ferry drive, we arrived at Vancouver Island. Our stops for the first day was the Coombs Market, the Cathedral Grove and our waterfall. The activities for the whole weekend were whale watching, bear watching, kayaking, our tour to the hot springs, our boat ride to the Mirrors Islands, and of course surfing, which was so much fun. We also had a campfire on our first night at the hotel, and on our second night we played some games, which was fun. We returned to Vancouver on Monday the 19th of May and arrived at around 9 p.m. at home.
The weekend after Tofino, we had a pub and club night at the Pint. Even though the Pint is pretty big, we had a nice cozy table downstairs for INTERNeX. Once the music started, we went onto the dance floor and had a really fun night.
Hang on for some highlights from June, including rafting in Chilliwack.
On Saturday the 7th of June, we started our whitewater rafting trip. Our crazy tour guide Lee from Westrack picked us up at like 2 p.m. at Waterfront Station with a sweet band, and we made our way to Chilliwack. We arrived in Chilliwack around 4 p.m. and after we setting up our tents, which mostly we girls did actually, close to a big campfire place, we started playing volleyball, which was pretty fun. After the beach volleyball match, it was time to start the campfire. We spent the whole night drinking and looking at the stars and sharing crazy stories and watched Crazy Alex falling down. The next morning was finally time to go rafting. They brought us to the river in our old retro school bus and we went on the river with 3 boats and we were in total about 25 people. There were lots of crazy rapids and the surrounding was stunning. After rafting for about an hour, we stopped and dragged our boats on shore. We hiked up to an amazing waterfall and walked through the waterfall. It was breathtaking. After 4 hour rafting, we came back to the camp and our lunch was already waiting for us. We had our last volleyball match and then we made our way back to Vancouver. We arrived in Vancouver around 4 p.m.
Last Saturday we met us to watch the Soccer World Cup match Germany against Ghana, the second match of both teams in the World Cup. So we all were at 11 in the morning at the point, ordered some food and drinks to be ready for an exciting soccer match. Everything was about soccer, which was really fun. It was a very nice atmosphere in the pint, a lot of supporters and some support chants during the game. After the match, most of us decided to enjoy the sunny weather at the beach or with a bike ride around the Stanley Park. It was a very nice day for a ride along the seawall.
And check out our highlights of July with lots of great activities in Vancouver.
We started July with watching the Canada Parade and afterwards we walked to Stanley Park to watch the fireworks. On the 6th of July we went to Deep Cove. Unfortunately it was really cloudy and rainy Sunday, but that did not stop us from going. In Deep Cove we enjoyed a coffee with the famous donuts. And on the 12th of July we went to the street festival in Kitsilano and enjoyed a day strolling around little markets and ended up on the beach.
On the 18th of July we went to the Liberty Distillery on Granville Island to get a tour through the distillery and a tasting of the spirits they produce. Since the tour started a little late, we already had some cocktails in the attached tasting room. Afterwards, our tour guide showed us the distillery and explained every of their steps. They're producing vodka, gin and some kind of whiskey. She as well gave us a small tasting of each of the spirits, which some of us like better than others. 3 shots of different spirits just after lunchtime were a little hard to take. After the tasting, all of us had another cocktail outside and some even bought some small bottles of what we just tasted. Last week we did a monthly overnight trip to Victoria. Originally we wanted to start at 7 a.m, but because of a chain of unfortunate circumstances we didn't make it in time, but then we just took the later ferry at 10 a.m. Already the drive on the ferry was great. We were really lucky and got seats right in front of the top deck, in front of the front window, so we had the best view of all passengers. The only consequence of our delay was that everybody was even more forward-looking to our lunch in one of Tim's recommended pubs, the Canoe Brew Pub. Nearly all of us had their famous canoe burger, which was amazing but huge. First, we went to see one of the smallest streets of the world in Chinatown. It was really small. Then we checked out the famous Empress Hotel and the Building of Parliament, which are both located on the beautiful harbour. We had a nice walk along the water to the Fisherman's Wharf and we also went to the Beacon Hill Park. For dinner we went to Spinnaker's, which was as well recommended by Tim. We had lots of different stuff to eat and nice drinks. Even though everybody was exhausted and tired after the dinner and our long day with lots of walking, we decided to check out one of the local pubs and the nice lighted Building of Parliament. The next day we went for breakfast to a nice cafe where they served typical North American breakfast. So we had pancakes with bacon, French toast with hash browns or waffles with cream. It was awesome. Of course we had to burn all those calories again, so some of us decided to rent a bike and had a really nice long drive along the ocean with lots of stunning viewpoints. As our goodbye meal in Victoria, we went to the Old Spaghetti Factory and then we went back to Vancouver where we arrived at about 9:30.
Here's the review of August that included another great trip to the Rockies.
The month was kicked off with the crazy and colorful Vancouver Pride Parade, and of course INTERNeX was there to follow the parade. It was great fun to watch all the decorated cars and caverns that filled the streets in downtown Vancouver.
On August 8th till 11th we had our fantastic Rockies trip. During the trip we saw beautiful lakes and majestic mountains as we traveled through Jasper, Banff and Revelstoke. At the trip we also went to the top of the mountains to get a great view of Banff National Park. We also saw bears and eagles on the bear safari and went to the Columbia Glacier. On our last night we had a campfire and we tried out some delicious marshmallows.
And on August 16th we went to the Vancouver Aquarium. Here we saw not only colorful fish but also funny parrots, penguins and much more. This was a great way to spend a couple of hours. On Friday, August 22nd, we went to the Richmond Night Market. This crazy market had lots of interesting food as well as things you cannot live without.
And here's the review of September with our Whistler trip and much more. At the beginning of September we went out doing stand-up paddling. It was great weather for this activity and we had loads of fun. We were given a board and a paddle, and then we were given a few minutes of practice, and then out we went to the harbor to do some stand-up paddling. Great fun trying to avoid the traffic in the harbor. Later on we went out to do laser tag. That was great fun as we had a lot of exercise, running around trying to shoot each other.
At the third weekend in September, we visited the Queen Elizabeth Park. The park is the highest point in the city, and so we had an amazing view over downtown. Later we found a sunny place to sit down, and we were chatting a lot about various topics and enjoyed the sun. For our overnight trip, we went to Whistler. Some of us went to go horseback riding and saw the Alexander waterfalls. And the rest of the group went through Whistler Village and enjoyed the sun and the little shops. In the evening we cooked some spaghetti and enjoyed the hot tubes, and after that we went to the nightclubs in Whistler. On Sunday we went up with the gondola to the mountains and hiked to the Harmony Lakes. And yes, we had a great time in Whistler and enjoyed the sun.
Check out the review of October, including a bit of Halloween craziness. In October, Canada celebrates Thanksgiving, and of course we did the same. So we went out to Irish Heather to get some nice food. It was really nice and affordable, only 18 bucks for a full turkey dinner.
We had a great evening by watching a hockey game. It was the last preseason game this year, and the Vancouver Canucks played against the Edmonton Oilers. And of course the Canucks won by 3-2.
During October, Vancouver goes Halloween crazy, and of course we also took part in the festivities. So to warm up for Halloween, we went out to do some costume shopping. We went to a shop in North Vancouver where we tried out all kinds of funny costumes. Much of October is all about Thanksgiving and Halloween, so to try something a bit different, we went to Fly Over Canada experience. It was a really cool experience, very nice virtual flights. To end off the month of October, we went to a Halloween party at Blarney Stones. We dressed up in our nice costumes. Thanks to all of you who made October an awesome month and participated in our different activities and events. So these were the highlights of the year. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next year.